before we can get to understanding how money is intended to be used, we must first break free from the emotional restraints that we have been tied to or anchored to because we only know how to use money. I started Trappin' Tuesdays 2019 with a cell phone and a backdrop in my great aunt's living room. So I want you to understand that under no shape, form, or circumstance can you doubt small beginnings. Keep the vision in mind and let go of the emotion. Keep the purpose at the forefront and not the pain that you must endure. I want you to understand that when you stay dedicated to the journey, you unlock something that is so special. You cross-pollinate purpose and execution. I want you to understand that you have something so powerful in you. Not only must you keep going, but you must persevere. And you must endure, like James 1, 2, and 4 says, you must consider it pure joy. Because you never know what the journey will unfold if you stay consistent, if you adjust, and you surround yourself with people that their purpose is to help you serve more people. And so for that, I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all. Episode 144, y'all. Man, I want to start off tonight, Jose. I just have a thought that I would like to impose on the people before we start. And it is, before we can master the market, before we can master the charts, before we can master dividend investing, before we can master buy and hold, before we can master value investing, before we can master anything that comes to this game, we must first master the art of controlling our emotions. I get it. Right? We come from, a lot of us, I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of us come from poor and poverty and middle class, right? And we have this relationship with money that isn't the best. We kind of know how to use it, but we don't know when to use it. Okay. I like where we're going with that. Okay, there's people that know what to do with money, and then there's people that understand how money is used. Okay, let me reframe that a little bit better. There's people that know how to use money, and there's people that understand how money is used. There we go. That's better. That's better. So there's people, most of us grow up understanding how to use money. There is an exchange that has to take place, right? But then there's a small group of people that truly understand how this money is supposed to be used, okay? There's a group of us that say, if I work this amount of hours, I'm supposed to get paid this amount of money. And then there's another group of people that says, if I have this amount of money in liquid, I can borrow against this money without putting up any of my money, and then the money that I can use can make me more money. There's a group of people that understand, if I work this much overtime, I get this much money because I'm gonna get taxed this much. And then there's a group of people that understands, if I have a credit rating of this much, I can borrow this much and I can use that to leverage this much. and that will generate this much, and then they can only tax me on the capital gains and not the whole dollar amount. Okay? So there's a group of people that understand how to use money, and then there's another group of people that understand how money is used. There's a group of people that understands if I put this much in the market, I can get this much in return. And then there's a group of people that understands if I put something in the market and as soon as it turned green, I want to take that. Okay. We must make the transition from being able to use money to to comprehending the strategies that teach us how money is used. But wait a minute. Before we can get to understanding how money is intended to be used, we must first break free from the emotional restraints that we have been tied to or anchored to because we only know how to use money. Oh my God. There's some emotional anchoring that is done when you are just taught how to use money. So for us to be successful in the market, we must be able to trade beyond the trigger. In order for us to be successful consistently in the market, we must be able to trade beyond the trigger. But the trigger is tied to the internal programming on how to use money and not how money is used. Okay. So before we can truly master how money is used, we must master the emotion. Because the one thing that will cost you more than any losing trade is an uncontrolled reaction to money that has not been checked. Because an uncontrolled reaction to money that has not been checked will now become a habit, and now we can't trade behind the trigger because as long as the trigger keeps going off, we are trapped. We are trapped. And so, we must identify what are the emotional reactions to the market. We must identify those. What is it about the market that causes me to be emotional beyond my own grasp? Meaning, watch this. Some people who are really new in the game, who are still being dictated and navigated by their triggers, they say this: see profit, take profit. That is the number one indicator that we have not evolved beyond the trigger. We must be able to play this game beyond what the emotional response is. What is it that we see and not what we feel? What is it that we see that goes beyond what we feel? Because what we feel is the trigger that has been trapping us for generations. Now, let's dig into that. This is why this we got to dig into that, because there's an emotional connection to losing money that you in your mind do not think is infinite. You actually think the money has a shortage. Because every dollar that you have made up until a certain point has only been the dollar that you have got as a return on your investment to labor. Oh man, I think we going somewhere. Okay? Watch me here. When every dollar you have made has only been a return on your investment to labor, it is almost impossible for you to see a dollar being made without you putting in work. So the idea of making a dollar without putting in work means soon as I see green, I need to take that green, because making green without my labor is unfamiliar territory. Okay, I'm gonna use my cousin right quick. But this the old version of him. When all we did was work power plants, he said, cuz I made $50, I'm gone. The new version of him, they let me make a little 50 today. He's evolved beyond the trigger. Do not feel a certain way because you're at that point. Understand that evolution is a process. But we must first identify the emotional reactions to the market. Because frustration and unchecked emotions will rob you of your financial destiny. Frustration and unchecked emotion will rob you of your financial destiny. Let me make that make a little more sense. I'm gonna go biblical for a second right here. Numbers 20:7-12 says that Moses gave God instruction. And the instruction was, speak to it and water will flow from it. Instead, due to frustration and emotional reaction to the market, Moses not only spiked the rock once, but he did it twice. Why? Because once frustration takes over, once we become emotional, we double down on the frustration. And so while water did flow, the supreme consequence was Moses was not able to proceed to the promised land. Let me make that make sense to us. The consistent frustration now makes us overtrade. I'm frustrated. The market hit me. Spike the trade once. I don't see it, hit it again. It ain't there, hit it again. It ain't there, hit it again. Money is flowing, but opposite of you. It's flowing. You are consistently now making other people. Listen, Moses spiked the rock. Everybody else got to go, but him. You keep striking. Trade. Everybody get the go, but you. Everybody get the go, but you. And so we must not let our emotional reactions to the market crush our destiny. So I want to try to say something for me right quick before we get into the show. I will not strike what I was destined to speak to. I will not strike what I was destined to speak to. How can we listen to the market? We can see the market. We can visualize the market. The market is designed to take you through many emotional roller coasters if you allow it. I'm not even a person to tell you don't have emotion. Why? Because we come from poverty, we come from middle class, we come from working class, so we have this relationship with money that everybody won't understand. But we must trade beyond the trigger. Because as long as we allow the idea of lack to control us, we will never get to profit. We will never get to the promise. We will never get to the place that we were destined to be. The market has an endless supply of profit for those who are bold enough to stay in the game. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna be real with you. There are moments where you take profit, but every time you see green, if you take profit, here's why I want you to understand where you get slaughtered at. 5 to 10 small take profits can be wiped out in one red day. So how do you split the Red Sea?